Dan and Roxanne, that was a very intimidating introduction. Thank you. But I'm not sure who they're talking about. I'm just, Chris from Princeton, but must say that I am really proud to be from New Jersey. New Jersey is one of the greatest states in the country. And we are leaders. We're leaders in public policy, we are leaders in caring for our citizens, we are leaders in research. We are a model for other states to emulate about how to care for people, our friends, our neighbors, our families, all of whom may be in need. And I think that became clear to me for the first time when I was injured back in 1995. And I went to Kessler Institute, not far from here in West Orange, New Jersey. And because of my, quote, celebrity status, I was put in a private room, and there were 2 security guards stationed outside the room 24/7. And these guys were from Central Casting. They definitely had the thing coming out of their ears, and they talked into their watches, and all those things that you see them do at the White House. And I never asked for that. And I must say at the time I was very comfortable with the support of my friends and my immediate family. But you know what? I had a fear or an aversion to becoming too involved with other people who were disabled, suffering in some kind of distress. It's like I wanted to be isolated, to say I don't want to be in that group, in that community. I just don't want to be around people who aren't well. Because it was a shock. I always thought of myself as being healthy and able and free and all of those things. I must say that was very arrogant of me. And for about the first week or so, I had to go into bed at 6:30 in the evening. And the door was shut, and everyone was kept away by the security guards. And I was in my room trying to assess my situation. And then I felt very strange about that. I felt lonely. I felt this would be after my wife had to go home, and my young son, Will, my older kids had gone home. And I thought, what am I doing here all by myself and not reaching out to my fellow patients? And so I went to the administrator and said, could you just tell those security guys, thank you very much, but they can go protect somebody else. And there must be some politician who needs them. And I said, you know what, just leave my door open. So, at first nothing happened. I think people were intimidated. There was an invisible wall that had been put up, and no one really dared to cross the threshold. But then, people started coming into my room. They'd come in their chairs and pull up by the bed, and we'd start to talk. And there were some regulars. There were some people who would come once or twice, and then I wouldn't see them again because they were discharged or moved to another wing or something. But pretty soon, that open door policy changed my entire experience of living with my own condition, but also my experience of what it's like to be somebody else, to have compassion, to realize that we're all completely equal here on this planet. Although society tries to set up barriers, our culture sets up barriers. So there I was in my room. People would come in, tell me their stories. People that I would never have met otherwise. People in a lot of pain, people whose lives had not only been changed by the injury, but also by the stress after the injury. I found that some people had difficult relationships before the injury, and the injury was too traumatic, and they lost a wife or a husband who couldn't take it. Then I also saw examples of incredible closeness and love, where families rallied around, and friends became more than friends. They became almost like one. And all of these people had such compelling stories to tell that it helped me take my attention off of myself. And of course, right after I was injured, my attention was entirely on myself. I was thinking, why me? I don't deserve this. My life wasn't supposed to go this way. It's not fair. Well, I learned some humility in that room down in the hall in Kessler. And I think what's so wonderful about friends, health, connection, is all those words are so important. Friends are just people we haven't met. There are no strangers. We're not strangers. We're just friends we haven't met yet. And if we leave ourselves open to accepting anyone, just as they are, who comes into our life, it can be incredibly rewarding. Health, yes, that's something we're all concerned about. But even more than that is the connection. The connection that binds us together. So we have the relief of being able to talk to somebody and say, oh, you feel the same way too? So do I. Yeah, I hate it when they do that. Or I like it when they do that. Or you know that person? Yeah, I do too. And how do you feel about, how do you deal with your spasticity? Or how are you dealing with having to be turned in bed every 2 hours? I hate it. How do you deal with it? And suddenly you're making connections. And if we're going to survive on this planet, if we're going to go forward as a society, we've got to break down all the barriers, stop all the issues that polarize us, and get connected, whether it's in terms of dealing with health, or just simply sharing this planet while we're here. Because, like it or not, we are all connected. And so we should embrace that. And this organization, for 17 years plus, has been doing that. Imagine being able to reach out through a hospital and say, I'm lonely. I want to be able to talk to somebody. Can you help me? And there's an answer. I mean, that's truly phenomenal. And I really want to congratulate the Friends Health Connection for being there for people.